What's up, everybody? This is Lyle with No Hippie Barbecue. What I'm going to be doing today is just a brisket flat. We're going to be doing this in our slow cooker, so a little bit different than how I would normally do it. This is something that's going to take about 12 hours to do. I'm going to be using an air roaster Crockpot, kind of a combination, but you could use this technique in whatever kind of Crockpot you have. Now, a few people have asked me about my air roaster, so I'm going to bring you guys in and kind of show you this real quick, and then we're going to get seasoning this meat and get it in for the long haul. This is what I'm using. So the difference between this and a regular crock pot is you can dial in the temperature from 150 degrees all the way to like 405 or 425 degrees, I believe. Yeah, 425 degrees. Now, if you're going to use it like a roaster, what you would do is add this rack in. The lid comes with a place where you can attach this fan to it. So this piece would go in here and it would basically work as a convection oven, but we're not going to be using it like that for this cook. So anyway, for those of you that asked, that is what this air roaster is about. As far as our brisket goes, we have a brisket point, and I just basically cut this off of a whole packer brisket. What we're going to do is season it. You can season this brisket however you'd like. What I'm going to use is, and actually I'm going to season this bottom part. What I'm going to use is, I just have a habanero seasoning mix. This is a little bit sweet, but it's definitely got some heat on it. But use whatever you want as far as your flavor profile. You can use, you know, just go with salt, pepper, garlic, and you'd be good to go with that. Yep, and those habaneros are jumping up at me. So for now, I'm just going to get the top and the sides. And the reason is I don't want to flip this over and put the seasoning on it and have it stick to my cutting board. I'm going to season the other side once we get it in the crock pot. So we got that. And now I'm going to come over it with some black pepper. And I'm going to just let this sit and kind of let this rub kind of work its way into the meat. Should take about 5 minutes. In the meantime, what I'm going to do in this crock pot or the slow cooker is I'm going to put a bed of onions down at the bottom of it. And this is kind of an optional thing. I just want this for some gravy I might make for it. Now we're going to let this sit for about 5 minutes, and then we'll get the other side and get it in the crock pot. This brisket's been sitting here for about 7 minutes, and the rub is kind of seeped into the meat just a little bit. And the reason I wanted to wait is because when I put this in the slow cooker, I don't want all the seasoning to fall off of the meat, so I just let it kind of get to where it's sticking to it. So we got the brisket in. Let me wash my hands right quick. Now we're going to season this side of the brisket with the same seasoning. And this is a tight fit, but as it cooks it will shrink. Dang. Shoot. It will shrink down a little bit. And once I get this seasoned down, I have this set at 200 degrees. If you have a crock pot, you're just going to go on low. And we're going to cook this. It's probably going to take about 12 hours. I want the internal temperature on this to be at 200 degrees, somewhere in that neighborhood. So if you don't have a temperature or a thermometer, 12 hours should be fine. If you do have a thermometer, start probing it at about 11 hours to see where you're at on temperature. Now we're going to go ahead and put the top on this. I'm going to go get it plugged in, and we're in for the long haul. So we've reached 200 degrees on this brisket, and what I've done was, man, I did cut off some of this because I was a little hungry, and I can say that looks delicious. This side has enough bark on it for me. What I'm going to do is flip this over, and we're going to kind of crust this up. So I'm going to hit it with a little olive oil. and then some of the same seasoning that we used earlier. And the reason I'm adding seasoning to this side is because it's been kind of laying down in those juices the whole time. So we got that. Add a little pepper. I'm going to throw it into the oven at 350 degrees and just let this get kind of a little dark brown on it. And once we're done with that, it's going to be time to taste it. This just came out of the oven. We did get a little bit of brownage on the top of this. I'm going to go ahead and do this like I would a normal barbecue brisket. What I'm going to do is just throw it on some foil. And, ooh, that is hot. And now we're just going to wrap it up. And I'm going to let this kind of sit in this foil for about an hour before we slice into it. So this just came out of the oven, had a little bit of time to rest. Now, you know what? Let's cut into this and see kind of what we're tasting like. And I can tell you, that is very tender right there. That tastes good. I mean, looking for the same stuff you do when you're smoking brisket or something like that. You're wanting it to have a nice little bend to it. You want it to be moist. And this has all that. Flavors a little bit more like roast beef. But everything in this world does not need to be smoked. Man, this is really good. I think I'm gonna make some I don't know what I'm gonna make out of it. I can make anything out of this. This stuff is good. Anyway, if you don't have a smoker, you want to try something out in the crock pot, or if you're like me, sometimes you do get tired of barbecue, or at least I do. Knock out a little oven recipe or a slow cooker recipe. This is good. Anyway, let me stop running my mouth before this becomes a mukbang video, or whatever they call those things. Thanks for stopping by No Hippie Barbecue. I appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.